Adding to its history of legal troubles, Coffeyville Oil Refinery settles a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
And rain continuing across the 4 states. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, ChatGPT co-founder and CEO Sam Altman was fired by the company's board late Friday, sending the entire tech world into chaos. We'll have what this means for the future of AI.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. In today's top story, legal settlements due to polluting continue for a Southeast Kansas oil refinery. The latest settlement for the Coffeyville Resources refining and marketing is related to illegal emissions of pollutions from 2015 to 2017. The EPA and Justice Department today announced the company will pay more than $23 million for its violations. They claim the pollutants from the Coffeyville oil refinery's flares during those years released illegal pollutants, including more than 2,000 tons of sulfur dioxide, which can make breathing more difficult. The Coffeyville oil refinery has had a history of legal settlements, including one over an oil spill during a 2007 flood.
And the rain continuing across the area for us today. Quick look outside from our camera on the Cornell complex earlier today. Started to get some clearing out there, albeit briefly, as the low pressure system continues to spin and churn more showers and thunderstorms into the area. MoDOT camera this morning as well. Wet roadways, rain showers continuing, cloud cover making it look relatively dreary, but we absolutely needed this rain. So here's a look earlier at the Skywatch storm tracker. You can almost tell where the low pressure is as this all wraps back around here across the region. We zoom out and you can see that thunderstorm activity, a few more thunderstorms rather, down to our south, and severe weather anticipated down across the deep south and into Louisiana, where they could see some significant severe weather down there. So we're counting ourselves pretty lucky that we're just getting showers and a few isolated thunderstorms, but no severe weather expected. Yesterday managed to get 3/10 of an inch of rain. So for the entire month of November, we've had 3/10 of an inch of rain. We need more, and again, we are getting some. Started yesterday at 42, so well above normal, but look at that. How often do we make average? We hit 57, and that's how we're supposed to be. All right, so Saturday was a nice warm day. We're going to continue to cool. We're going to be below average starting today and for the next several days across the area, with our average high again around 57. Showers continue through the evening, dropping through the 40s, and our winds continuing to gust out of the north at about 25 miles an hour, increasing overnight. We'll talk more about your full forecast and how Thanksgiving is looking here in just a few more minutes.
Last week, a Bourbon County inmate walked away from work detail, and we have exclusive footage of the inmate, Melvin Foley, when he escaped.
A man from Bourbon County Jail, Melvin Foley, escaped from custody Wednesday morning during a work release program outing. The inmate, Melvin Foley, was in this block of 2100 and South Horton Street in Fort Scott, Kansas, with other inmates and correctional center staff supervisors before he walked away and escaped. Upon notification of Foley's escape, a search for the inmate ensued. During his escape, Foley headed north to a residential area and came to the door of Billy Head. Head, who has a personal police scanner, said she was aware that an inmate had escaped, but never expected the inmate to show up at her doorstep.
And then the knock at the door came, and I was like, I'm not expecting anybody. What is going on? Who could be here? And so I cautiously approached my door.
After opening the door, Head came face to face with Foley, who was asking her if she had seen his dog.
Hey, did you guys happen to see a little brown poodle?
Though Head was not fully convinced of Foley's story.
His just jittering demeanor of not being able to give me a specific place of where he lived, where the dog could have gotten away from him at, alerted me red flag wise that something is funny about this story.
Head says she tried to hurry him along. After the brief exchange, the inmate headed north and had contacted her husband Tim about the suspicious encounter. Tim then contacted the authorities. At around 10:45 a.m., Foley was caught and taken into custody.
After her experience, Head says she wants to see stricter protocols for inmates who spend time out in the community. And finally, KOAM and Fox 14 will be collecting food donations at Ron's Supermarket in Pittsburgh today from 4 to 7 p.m. The donations will be given to Pittsburgh's Wesley House to help feed the 4 states. You can also donate at koamnewsnow.com/feed. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in the 4 states region. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, we remember the life and legacy of Rosalind Carter. And later, we're making cranberry pecan relish in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Stay tuned. Giving travel tips for you.
Officials tell me that traditionally the busiest travel days are the Tuesday or Wednesday before Thanksgiving. However, the travel boom started over the weekend. Officials predict that this Thanksgiving holiday will surpass last year's with a 9 to 12% increase of passengers. Due to this, preparation started well before this week began to ensure a smooth traveling experience. There will be additional law enforcement to work the front curb to help with traffic flow. TSA will be fully staffed to ensure the safety and security of travelers, and to help with limited parking, officials have provided a remote parking lot with complimentary shuttles. Here are some traveling tips and tricks. To get ahead, arrive 90 minutes before your departure. Travelers can skip the check-in counter by using the CHS check-and-go baggage system. And lastly, be aware of the TSA rules. Spencer Pryor, the Deputy Executive Director and Chief Communication Officer, says to be careful if you're trying to bring food through security.
From the food part of, I've heard TSA folks that they've seen everything from frozen turkeys going through on there. So you can bring food through, prepared foods through, but the liquids are the things that, that are forbidden. But you want to check TSA.gov to make sure even if some of those prepared foods, if there's some liquid or some gravy or something like that, that won't go through as well.
Rosalind Carter passed away at the age of 96. Carter changed the way Americans view First Lady's role in policy. Natalie Brand has more in Washington.
Former First Lady Rosalind Carter and her husband, the 39th President Jimmy Carter, made their last public appearance together at the Peanut Festival in their hometown of Plains, Georgia, back in September. Married for more than 77 years, their marriage was the longest of any presidential couple and a partnership that led to the White House.
I look forward to consulting closely with him on a regular basis.
She's credited with transforming the role of First Lady, even sitting in on cabinet meetings as well as major briefings.
My role was more one of a sounding board for Jimmy. He could explain the issues to me and in the process think them through.
Rosalind Carter also advocated for causes including mental health reform. After leaving the White House, the Carters continued their public service, building the Carter Center in Atlanta to promote peace and conflict resolution.
You know, they're really an incredible family because they brought so much grace to the office.
For nearly 40 years, the Carters partnered with Habitat for Humanity, helping to build homes for the poor. Just last week, Rosalind Carter entered hospice care with her husband. The Carter Center says she died peacefully Sunday afternoon with her family by her side. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Services for Rosalind Carter begin next week in her hometown of Plains, Georgia. And hundreds of employees at the company that gave us the groundbreaking artificial intelligence program, ChatGPT, are threatening a mass exodus. Jolene Kent reports.
OpenAI is the most advanced and the most widely used AI platform in the world now.
Sam Altman, the powerful face of artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, suddenly fired on Friday as CEO of OpenAI, just 2 weeks after making this bold promise.
As intelligence gets integrated everywhere, we will all have superpowers on demand.
His dismissal by OpenAI's nonprofit board shocked Silicon Valley. The company said it lost confidence in Altman, that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, adding the company remains fully committed to its mission to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all humanity. Since ChatGPT launched last November, Altman has been a fixture on Capitol Hill, discussing the benefits and threats of artificial intelligence. He's traversed the globe, meeting with world leaders.
Can Americans trust OpenAI to make AI safe?
I think trust but verify. I think it's really important that the government does put sensible policy in place. Altman's dismissal surprised OpenAI's biggest investor, Microsoft, which has invested a reported $13 billion into the company. Just 2 weeks ago, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella appeared at an event on stage with Altman.
How is Microsoft thinking about the partnership currently?
Look, first, we love you guys.
CBS News learned Microsoft was given less than 15 minutes of notice before Altman's firing was made public.
Sam Altman, who I just saw in the hallway here, your partner at OpenAI.
Earlier this year, Tony DeCopel talked with Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella about its AI tech, developed with OpenAI.
We will have many, many mechanisms to ensure that nothing biased, nothing harmful gets generated.
In a statement overnight, Nadella said Microsoft has now hired Altman and remained committed to our partnership with OpenAI and have confidence in our product roadmap.
It's not clear that without Sam Altman, they are going to be able to maintain that lead.
The Atlantic's reporter Ross Anderson spent months with Altman and the OpenAI team.
Should the average user of ChatGPT be worried about the future of this company that wields so much power?
Yeah, I think so. You have what looks like hugely Machiavellian power plays right around the center of this technology that is, appears to be at the heart of the future. And I do think that should make people nervous.
As for what's next, OpenAI's board has named its new interim CEO, Emmett Shear. He's the former CEO of the streaming platform Twitch. He said just a few hours ago he accepted the job after a few hours of consideration, and he will hire an independent investigator to see what happened with all of this. And Altman, in his own late-night post, wrote, "The mission continues." As for what happens to the engineers and the Altman loyalists, expect to see a lot of changes. A source directly familiar with the situation told me that an exodus of engineering talent from OpenAI will complicate the relationship between Microsoft and OpenAI a whole bunch. Jolene Kent, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, we see what's cooking with Mr. Food.
But first, we are continuing to watch rain across the area and below average temperatures this week. Take a look at that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we've been needing rainfall. We still need a lot more, but we thankfully have been getting some rainfall and we'll continue to do so through today and into the first half of our Tuesday. Earlier, quick look at the Skywatch storm tracker from this morning, showing where we did have some of those showers and scattered storms, all associated with a low pressure system that's going to be bringing it back essentially full circle. And as you see, even some lightning. So that's what we're talking about, some isolated storms. But the good news is, at least for us, no severe weather expected, but down to the south, they could see some significant severe weather. So we'll just take the rain and a few thunderstorms. So there's the spin associated with that. Thunderstorms from this morning rolling into parts of south central Missouri. All of this looping back around. So after a break, more showers and storms. Just a wider view. Now you can see all of this associated with this system, where it's just bringing a fair amount of rain and in some cases even some wintry precipitation out there. And then down south along a frontal boundary, that's where they're going to see that risk for severe weather. So we go through the rest of today, and again, we'll continue to see these scattered showers and again a couple of thunderstorms out there. The other thing we're going to see is gusty winds out of the north pushing around 25 miles an hour, and by tomorrow, or by overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, they'll be gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. So that's going to make it feel a lot colder. And then again for our Tuesday, a couple of isolated showers could continue through about noon, 1 o'clock, and then the rest of that will clear on out of here. So we can take a look at our rain chances going through the rest of today into tomorrow morning. There's that lull, and then again a couple of isolated showers possible after that. But our best rain chances again return as we head into the afternoon. And additional rainfall with this could be upwards of 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain, and in some cases even close to 3/4, like Chinook, for example. So we are getting some much needed rain. Obviously, still need a lot more, but anything is better than nothing. MoDOT camera 20th and range line this morning, again showing the wet roadways out there, the rainfall, cloudy skies from our camera on the Cornell complex, gusty winds out there, and of course, wet roads. And the KDOT camera at 69 in Kansas Crossing. Wet roadways, Pittsburgh getting a break in the rain earlier, a little sooner than the rest of us did. As we go down through the rest of the week, we are still watching that possibility of some kind of system as we head into this upcoming weekend. So Thanksgiving's looking fine, but heading into the weekend could see some light showers and potentially a light wintry mix of precipitation. Here we are going for Saturday into Sunday, and you see that roll through. It's already changed a lot over the last several days and will continue to do so. So we'll keep a close eye on it for you. Again, not expecting a blizzard or tons of snow, but could be enough to inconvenience you traveling if you're coming back home or heading out of town or anything this upcoming weekend. Highs today, some of us won't make it out of the low 50s, other upper 50s. The showers and gusty winds will continue. Low 40s tonight, so still technically above average. Rain, maybe a couple of thunderstorms out there. And then for the first half of our Tuesday, breezy, gusty winds, 30 miles an hour, but very chilly, nowhere near average, mid 40s with the showers and isolated thunderstorms in the morning. For Turkey Day, we are looking to start partly cloudy, and then clouds increase, mostly cloudy, but staying dry. Highs in the mid 50s and lows dropping back down into the lower 30s. And as we look at the rest of the week, again tomorrow, a couple of stray showers, cold, chilly on Wednesday, but more sunshine. And as we head into the weekend, again, upper 40s, watching that system for that potential shower activity and maybe even a light wintry mix. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. We'll stick around. We're making cranberry pecan relish in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. We'll be right back. It's time to check in with Howard in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
We all know that apples and oranges grow in orchards, while tomatoes and corn grow in fields. Those are obvious. But do you know that mushrooms are grown indoors in long buildings that almost look like army barracks, and that cranberries grow in bogs? Well, they do. And when it comes time to harvest the cranberries, the bog, which during the growing season is a rocky sandy field filled with bushes, is flooded and the cranberries float to the top to be collected. Today we're going to show you how to turn these into a tasty relish that's a nice change of pace from your typical cooked or canned cranberry sauce. We start by placing a good amount of fresh or frozen cranberries in a food processor, along with an orange and an apple that we've chunked up. Now we add some sugar, since the cranberries are very tart, and pecans to add a little crunch. We pulse this until everything is chopped and looks like this. It doesn't get any easier. And when you share this at your Thanksgiving feast, along with your knowledge of how cranberries are grown, you'll be the talk of the table. To get the recipe for our cranberry pecan relish, all you have to do is check out our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a cranberry-licious way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, again, upper 50s for some of us, low 50s for others. Rain continuing, isolated storms, breezy south or north winds rather, gusting upwards of 25 to 30 miles an hour. Random shower too for the first half of our Tuesday, then clearing out below normal in the mid 40s. Nicer on Wednesday, but still chilly. Turkey Day, mostly cloudy, mid 50s, upper 40s this weekend, and watching that potential for some light showers and maybe a light wintry mix.
Coming up tonight at 5, housing and hunger are two of the biggest issues plaguing vulnerable children across our country. That's according to the Children's Health Watch organization, which has spent decades supporting families in need. Plus, details after Coffeyville, Kansas refinery is ordered to pay millions for violating the Clean Air Act. And KOAM is live from Ron's Supermarket in Pittsburgh, collecting donations for Feed the Four States. Join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5. And that'll be the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. Have a great rest of your day.